Hello, everyone. Welcome back to season 2. This is the official first episode of season 2, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know that there was slight difficulties getting here, but we made it, and I'm so excited to introduce my guest for today. He is a dear friend of mine, a Boston native. What else could I say? I mean, I have a whole bio here. We're very professional in theory this season. So I'm gonna actually read you his official bio. So, Keenan Cooks was born and raised in Boston, Mass, and he began dancing at the age of 14. In 2008, Keenan moved to New York City to pursue dance professionally. Since moving to New York City, he has danced with artists such as Big Sean, Jennifer Lopez, Nicki Minaj, Neo, Flo-Rida, Kendrick Lamar, Royce, and Hailee Steinfeld. As a choreographer, Keenan has worked with Cardi B, Meek Mill, Guetta, Balvin, Bebe Rehxa, bad at speaking, Gotti, and Kelly Rowland. Keenan taught internationally in Japan, South Korea, China, Peru, Spain, Germany, France, Argentina, oh my goodness, England, Italy, Switzerland, Israel, Canada, and South Africa. He is on faculty at New York City's top studio, Broadway Dance Center, and is guest faculty at Movement Lifestyle and Millennium Dance Complex in Los Angeles. So, as I always love to do, I love to share a video. I couldn't pick just one, so I picked 2 videos of Keenan because watching him dance makes me happy. And also, these are 2 combos that I learned from him, and this is how they are supposed to be done if you've ever seen a video of me doing them on my personal Instagram. So, let's watch the video. And I'm gonna give a little shout out because we have 2 awesome people watching. Well, we have 5 people watching right now, but shout out to Kessie and Dee Dee who are watching right now. I can share, if you comment on YouTube, I can share your little typing situations during the interview. So definitely keep chatting. All right, here we go. Check out this video. I just love watching Keenan dance, and he's also just an amazing human, an amazing friend to me, which I'm so grateful for, and I'm so excited to bring him on. So let's give him a big round of applause, and yay! We did it! You're here! And before we even start, I just want to share some very nice comments that we've gotten. You can probably see in the green room. And also, I'm not even surprised that you already are bringing so much joy in the comments because you just as a human, I feel like you just bring so much joy into this world, which is like We have needed that so much in 2020. I've been so grateful for just having you in my life this pandemic, even in the whole time of my whole life, but especially during this year. So welcome. You are the first guest of season 2.
Let's go.
It was a journey getting here. We had a lot of drama. Mostly the drama was mostly because of the craft, which is what we're going to start with. Oh, and we also, before we start with the craft, we have another comment. He got that dancing from his grandma, so let the people know.
Hey, family.
So, before we talk dance, before we talk personal life, all that stuff,
Okay.
we're going to be doing a craft. And this craft has been a long time coming. It was a journey to get it. Here's a picture of our beautiful friends and family, pre-made
This is
and
about to be horrible.
No, it's gonna be so good. And so I picked this craft for you specifically because I know how important your family and friends are to you, and because you recently, I mean, it's not recent anymore, but you have your own big time apartment. So I tried to pick out colors that I know are in your apartment for the paint, but
Oh, you did
feel
good.
free to I tried to remember. It's been a long time since I've been anywhere but my own apartment. But so I picked up these cute frames, which we'll obviously replace with pictures that are really meaningful and not these creepy white people. But and also for anyone out there, hot tip. The Michaels on the Upper West Side is going out of business, so 70% off. Who knew? I didn't, and I showed up and waited an hour to get inside, but everything is very cheap, so highly recommend. So basically, I mean, this is like a very easy craft. All you have to do is paint the frame however you want it. So you could do you could do designs, you could do there's some different brushes I got you. There's circle brushes, and you could do little polka dots. You could do whatever your heart's content. And while we do that, we're just going to talk dance. I know some of your background just because we're both from Boston. Well, I'm from Somerville, so technically not Boston, but 4 miles away. So my mom loves to call you our Boston boy. She's always upset. She's like, how's our Boston boy doing? And I'm like, I think he's good. You follow him on Instagram. You see. But, yeah, so I'm just going to start off with some boring white paint and just see what happens. But
I'm gonna start with yellow.
yeah, that's cute. There might be a little thing at the bottom that you have to take off. Yeah, but for everyone who's listening, so obviously I said you're from Boston. Tell everyone a little bit about just your background, where you grew up, dancing, everything. Oh, we've got so much hype for you today in the comments.
Well, my mom was a dancer when I was younger. So naturally, my mom being my mom, I wanted to do what she wanted to do. She was a single mom, no dad around, so I really
And shout out to your mom because she's literally the greatest person ever. I've never gotten to meet her in person, but I feel like I know her from seeing her online.
She's the bomb. But yeah, so she danced, so naturally I wanted to dance. I didn't know to what capacity, where my life was going to end up, but that was just it for me. When I was 14 is kind of when I started taking dance seriously. I went to Boston Arts Academy, which is a performing arts high school in Boston. I came to the audition with my mother in this baby blue jogging suit. I had this hip dance all ready to go. I don't know, in my head I thought I was going to be coming to this school and doing hip hop and street styles and all that stuff, and they put my ass on a ballet bar. I had no idea what I was doing. I just remember following this boy in front of me with these weird hands, and I'm doing all this stuff, and I got into the school. I know that I got in because I was a boy and they just needed more boys. But I think the cool thing was once I got into the school and I saw ballet and modern and all these different styles, naturally the Leo in me, the competitive person, wanted to become great at these things. So it wasn't really about oh, I gotta wear tights, oh, I gotta do ballet. I wanted to be great. So yeah, I did that for 4 years. That was amazing. It was like a different experience for me. It was really dope. I graduated high school in 2012, and I moved my ass right to New York. I went to Marymount from 2012 to 2008 to 2012. Sorry, and yeah, that was like my first time like being in New York on my own. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know anything. But I do remember when I was working in Boston, I would watch Luam videos on YouTube and I would watch Rhapsody videos on YouTube. So the first class that I actually took was Luam's class, and from that moment, I was literally like broke as a joke. I only had, I would make like 150 a week or something, so I would save my money, take my $75 and get a 5-class card at BDC, and I would take 5 classes every 2 weeks and figure it out. I thought I was so much good at that time, but I was horrible. But I was still training, getting better. I would make my class schedule in school according to the classes that I wanted to take. So Luam's class was at night, so that was easy for school. But then I wanted to take Cheryl, I wanted to take Neil, I wanted to take Rhapsody. So I literally would make my schedule so I could take these dance classes. I didn't really know anything about the commercial world, but I just knew that I needed to be good. I needed to be undeniable. In 2011, I auditioned for Rhapsody's Motivated Excellence program, and that's what really changed my life and brought me on this course to dance. So her program was like the first commercial dance program for commercial dancers. So we had it 5 times a week, every damn day from 9 to 5. Towards the end of the program, I was actually still in college, my senior year. So I would either go to school, have my classes in the morning, and then go to program, or do program and then go to school after. When we had breaks, I was doing homework, I was typing papers. But I just knew that this was something that I needed to take me to that next level. That semester, I got the worst grades that I ever got in college, but it was so worth it because the program literally changed my life. Yeah, from there I kept grinding. 2013, I got signed, and it was my first time subbing at BDC, and literally from there, my life changed forever. From 2014 until now, every day, every fucking year, I just open my eyes and I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening. So that's like my story, and I'm just like super great. I'm super grateful for all the amazing things that happened. Like obviously you read the bio, so I don't have to.
I tried to read the bio. I've forgotten how to read.
Names, but I'm just super grateful to be in a position where I had a dream as a kid, had no idea how that was gonna happen, and it happened, and yeah. That's how I'm here now.
You know what's so crazy? I think I went to your BAA show because I went to the Cambridge School of Weston, and our dance director was friends with like the director of your program, and like we all went to see the performance. So I wonder if I like saw you dancing in high school, because we're just 1 year apart. So it's like.
And I was in all those shows. I was when I was in high school. I was gonna make sure that I was in all those pieces. So you probably did see me.
Literally, that's like, I was always in like 15 pieces. They'd have to like redo the order of the show so that I could like change a mess.
That's
but
right.
Yeah, so did you start out, well, first we have some other really fun comments that I want to show with you. So we have your mom, and I think your grandma. We got his mom got dancing from her mom. Amazing. So before you went to BAA, what kind of dance experience did you have? Did you go to a studio at all, or what was your movement training?
I actually didn't start going to I still call it my home studio because I was still a kid, and I like still am friends and still participate in the studio now, but I didn't really start going to a studio until I was 15. Origination Cultural Arts Center is a studio in Boston as well. It's like my family. Like that's where I really started to do professional work. But prior to that, it was just like raw talent, just a wild ass dancer, just like all over the place. I was in like a dance group, but I had no training prior to going to BAA. It was really just passion and me making up what I thought was good choreography and me dancing to what I was good. But one thing about me is I'm very honest with myself. And I knew once I got around people who are amazing that I wasn't as good as I thought. So it was about like working hard in BAA and getting that technique and working hard in this studio so I could be great. Being in the studio, we got to do Wild Out Wednesday, which was like a huge thing on 106 in Park at the time. When Lorianne first became an artist, we did a BET competition and we got to perform with her. And through doing that performance, I worked with Manway, who's another choreographer, and Cheryl Murakami. So this studio really opened my eyes to the commercial world and what it was like. Like, we were in Boston and 9 of us took buses up to New York to have rehearsal with Lorianne. And then we came back to Boston to teach the rest of the group. I was 18 years old, and I'm like, fuck, that's Lorianne from Making the Band. Like,
literally.
So this studio really like opened my eyes to what the commercial world was like, and we have one rehearsal with her. We had to get it together. So that was prior to BAA. That was like the training that I had in terms of dancing.
Yeah, and that is so good because I feel like people really sleep on Boston a lot, and there are so many good dancers who have come from Boston, from studios. Like, even just having that experience is insanely amazing that the whole studio was able to organize that, and just like, I don't know, there's so much talent in Boston, and I always say, like, I love Boston, but like, it doesn't feel like you can be there if you want to pursue the arts, which is so frustrating, unless like you're okay. If you want to like roll around in the dirt and like, you know, feel your feelings, which I love. Like, my mom's a modern dancer, so I love that. But there is just like a disconnect, I feel like, in Boston with the arts. And like, there's so many good people, and I wish there were opportunities for those good people in Boston as well as New York. So maybe that's something that'll happen in the future.
I think I agree with you. I think Boston is definitely more of a place, like, if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be a lawyer, those type of things. But I think that it's important that us as dancers, artists from Boston, that we have to rep where we're from, you know? A lot of people think that I'm from New York, and I always correct them. New York is my home, like, where I live now, but Boston is where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's a group of, like, Boston dancers that I am still friends with, a group of Boston dancers I know that are amazing. We're all working. We're all doing great things. So I think it's important that we, like, big up Boston, because even now there are amazing, amazing, amazing dancers in Boston, but they're there, so we feel like
Keenan put Boston on the map.
So they feel like there's nothing there, but you have like Shaquan, who's dancing for Chris right now. You have Giovanni, who has danced with
everyone, literally everyone.
You have Mickey, who's danced with everybody. You know, there's these great dancers.
And I think the guy who started Playground is from Boston too, I think. Yeah. Right? Like, there's so, like, I only just found out that recently. So it's like,
Ian, who's danced for Gaga for over 10 years.
He's from Boston? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So
we're so great.
Yeah, we just gotta put on for the city, and we gotta let people know. Like,
yeah, it's true. So I wanted to know. Okay, well, first, how is your painting going? I'm being kind of boring, and I've just painted one of my frames white.
All right, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. Hold on. It's giving polka dot.
Okay, I'm here for that. Oh, that's cute. I like that.
It's giving polka dot right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens after this.
Yeah, it's a process, you know, just like dance journey. This is your artistic painting journey, and we're here for it.
All right.
So when you went to college, did you major in dance, or did you have another major?
So that's a funny story. So after leaving BAA, where we predominantly did technique. So we took ballet every week. Well, your freshman, sophomore year, you take ballet every day. We took modern, we did jazz, we did ballet, we did tap, we did all those things. After doing that, I realized I'm happy to have it under my belt, but it's not something that I loved. It's not something that I wanted to pursue. And I've always had this feeling that, and obviously to dance, you don't have to go to college for it. You just need to keep training. So I think that was my mindset. You can ask my mom. Obviously, she's in here. My aunt, my grandmother, they all know. I was the there is no plan B type of person. So really, I went to college for communication arts, which whatever, like, what kind of major is that? But
I'm sure it's helped you in some way, right?
yeah, I think so, maybe whatever. But college was really a way for me to get to New York. But I didn't go to college for dance. I danced in college. I was on the dance team, but yeah, I went for communication arts, and that was just my way to have somewhere to live and to go to BDC.
Yeah. Was college, because I don't know, I feel like, because you graduated in 2000 from high school in 2008, right? Is that, and I graduated 2009. So like I feel like even back then there wasn't the same kind of situation as now, where it's like people are kind of more okay of like thinking, "Oh, maybe you don't need college. Maybe you could take some time." Like it felt like it was very much like, this is the track that you're going to. This is like, you have to go to college. Like there's no other option. So I don't know if you felt, if you would go back in time, would you have still gone to college?
I think I say yes and no. I say yes because I just think that it's an accomplishment to go to college. I
Yeah.
think, especially me, I was the first person in my family to go to college, like straight out of high school. So that's an accomplishment in itself. And I learned so many life skills. I learned how to survive in college. So, and the experience that I had was amazing. So for that reason, I would say yes. But for everything else, honestly, I would say no. I could have like did a BDC program and I
Yeah.
would have been fine. But literally, college kind of defined who I was as a person, and it has defined me as a person. I learned how to live. I had experiences, and it teaches you how to interact with people, how to be a business before you're a business. So as much as like in the moment I was like, I don't want to be here, I literally do feel like college definitely helped me be where I am. It helped me to know how to be business minded, to know how to communicate with people, to know how to save my money, like to know how to write. Some dancers don't know how to
That's
write.
that's the most important thing, I think, college. Like I totally agree with you on that. Like sometimes I get like down on myself because I'm like, wow, like I could have been so much farther where I want to be if I hadn't gone to college. But then I think about it and it's like, I needed those 4 years to learn about who I was outside of being under my parents' roof and like experiencing the world and finding out what I actually wanted to do. Like, of course, I
Right.
always wanted to dance, but if I hadn't gone to college and been like, no, like, I really do want to take this seriously, I could have burnt out very easily just moving
Right.
right to New York and being frantic and not knowing. But I think there are some people who like easily could just go into dance, and some people who probably really would benefit from 4 years of college or even 2 years or something like that. So I think it definitely is personal, but I always like to ask people who go to college, because I think lately it's a lot of like, don't go to college, you don't need it, don't waste your money. But I do think I learned a lot, although it is a lot of money for no reason to be that much money. So
Absolutely. Like I could have learned those things by not being there. But again, like I made friends who I love and still speak to. I've made like connections, and just being there, it changed my life. So
yeah,
my
and
answer is
having
like
friends outside of the industry too, and
exactly.
like having people who are talented, and that's networking for down the line. You never know who the people you meet in college are going to go off and go in these different branches and do something. And
And it's crazy that you say that, because people in college have people who I met in college, who I kept relationships with, who I was nice to, have now looked out for me later on in life. Even though we're not talking about this, I always tell people it is about how you make people feel, and it's about how you treat people. The people that you don't need anything from, or you don't think that you need anything from, will come down later on in life and help you, and you don't even know it. So I totally agree with that.
yeah, what has been one of like, this is such a hard question because you've literally done so much, but I was wondering if you could share like your favorite dance experience as a professional dancer, and then maybe I can change that, like give you three, like one teaching, one creating, choreographing, and one performing, because you've done literally everything.
Yeah. Okay, my favorite teaching experience was in 2016. One of my biggest teaching goals at that time was to teach in Japan. Teach in Japan, teach in Japan. I wanted to go to Japan really, but it was to teach in Japan too because I have such a strong following, Japanese following, and so many like students from Asia, period, come to my class. So in 2016, a friend of mine who was from Korea, she set up like this tour for me in Korea. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're so close. Come to Japan, come to Japan, come to Japan." And at that time, I was trying to stand my ground and like really be professional and like not fly myself out. I was like, I'm close, but I want somebody to fly me out. Like I want to be that person. Like I want to show that I am in demand, blah, 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 whatever that was in my head. But I mean, you still shouldn't fly yourself out, but that's just where I was at the time. And it ended up happening. They found out I was in Korea and they flew me from Korea to Japan. I spent 7 days in Korea and 4 days in Japan, and it was the craziest thing because it was something that I said that I wanted and I said it was going to happen, and it happened. Yeah, Darren's in the comments right now.
Yeah.
Dee was there with me. We had the best time. It was literally one of the best experiences of my life still, and I've traveled so many places, but that was still one of the best. My mother wrote down one of the dance experiences already.
Ooh, let's see. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Kelly. I'm gonna use Kelly as a choreography experience. So,
Okay.
my favorite dance experience was probably the VMAs with J-Lo. So
that pelvic thrust lives in my brain rent free.
So what happened with that was I got booked maybe like a month and a half before we started rehearsal for the VMAs to do the NBC upfronts. And for the NBC upfronts, it was World of Dance. So it was Derek Hough, Neo, J-Lo, and the other woman, I forgot her name.
I don't know.
But the other, she's like the host of the show. So pretty much what it was is we danced for them. They each had a section and we danced for them. So the last section was J-Lo. And I was like, all of my life, I've pretty much been told that I was like this short, like skinny guy, and I wouldn't be able to dance for like those type of female artists. So I was like, fuck, like we have this opportunity to dance for J-Lo. But J-Lo was like, so she had her dancers. She had her own dancers for her section, and then we were dancing for the other people. But Nappy Tabs wanted to add her dance, us too. So she came in rehearsal and she was like, well, I want to see. So we went crazy, like we went in.
And I've heard she's a tough cookie to work for.
She's tough. So we did that. That happened. That was done. It just so happened that a few years before that, I did the Monster Show, and Nappy Tabs were the directors of our show. So that was, I want to say, in May. So June goes by. I did a choreography job in June. July happens. I was actually like in LA. So I knew the VMAs were coming back to New York. So I was like so excited. And anybody who knows me, the 10 people in here, if they know me, they know I am the king of manifestation.
Seriously, I was going to say that a few moments ago because you really are.
That's me. So I was like, VMAs are coming to New York. I'm doing the VMAs. I'm doing the VMAs. They're in my city. Like, it's happening. So I was teaching, oddly enough, in Cape Cod. Teaching in Cape Cod.
Random.
Yeah, as I'm sleeping, like I'm falling asleep, the VMA commercial keeps coming on. VMA commercial keeps coming on. And I'm sleeping. My phone goes off, and it says, Jennifer Lopez VMAs. So I'm like, I'm dreaming. Like, I know this is crazy. So I went back to sleep.
Oh my God.
Waited like maybe 3 or 4 hours to answer that email. And then something was like, no, wake up. I woke up and it was Nappy Tab's assistant saying, was I available for a workshop for the VMAs with J-Lo from July up until the show. So it wasn't confirmed that I was performing. It was just that I was going to be in the workshop. Mm-hmm. And in my head, my first thought was, that's probably what's going to happen. I'm just going to do the workshop. But right away, I was like, no, fuck that. I'm doing this. So I got in the gym. That was a Sunday. Monday morning, I was in the gym. Because I knew with J-Lo we were going to be shirtless. So for that whole month, I was in the gym. We started the workshop. It was great. Like, I was in there. I was doing what I needed to do. Like, it was her dancers and then me and another girl. So me and the other girl were replacing 2 of her dancers because they weren't available for the workshop. But obviously they were going to do the show. So that 3 weeks goes by. and then we had a break, and then we went into production rehearsals. So I'm like, whatever. Then I got asked me back to these rehearsals. So they ended up saying that I could do it. So I was like, word, like I'm excited, but then I'm like, I'm gonna be put in the back because I'm filling in for this dancer. So her dancer came back. So they do first positions. I stayed in the back because I'm like, I know they're gonna put him in a spot. And Kyle, who was the choreographer, he's like, Keenan, are you gonna get to your spot? And I was like,
oh my
whoa.
God.
Like I worked my ass off to keep that spot. Like I had never worked so hard in my life because I just felt like the underdog. I felt like the guy who wasn't supposed to be here because I heard that so many times. Like, you're the teacher, you're the choreographer. Oh, you don't fit this role. And I worked hard for that spot, you know? And not only that, I was the only brown skinned guy up there. I worked for that spot. So that for me, that dance job was, that stands out in my mind because a lot of times we're told that there's this type of mold that you have to fit. Only this type of person can do this job. Oh, you're too big, you're too small, you're too this, you're too that. And for me, that was the first time that in my head, I was like, I always tell my students, if you're undeniable, there's no way that it can't happen. And that was the first time where my words actually worked for me. So
wow.
that was, yeah.
I love that.
That
And
was amazing.
seeing that video, it was like, it's just so clear that you were meant to be doing that and you fit perfectly in that and it worked so well. So like for people to have, like, I hate that how people have this like, you are in this track and this is what you can do. It's like, who says? Like, we can do what we want to do. Like, rude. I hate that.
So that was my favorite dance job. So choreography job, Kelly Rowland, hands down. I was assistant choreographer for Kelly Rowland in October of last year. Luan was the choreographer. I was assistant choreographer. Everybody knows that I love Kelly. Kelly is my girl. Everybody knows that. I had been manifesting that for 5 years. 5 years, like making videos, writing post-its, like doing all these things. And I just have so many stories with these things. I was in China teaching. I got an email from my agent and she was like, we want to do an avail check for you to choreograph a music video for Dua Lipa. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm like, cool, I'm going to be expecting an email because I'm going to book this job. But when she told me we would get the email, I was going to be on a plane heading back to New York. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to miss the email and I'm going to miss this opportunity. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm putting it in the air. I'm going to get that email. I'm going to get that email. So the whole week that I was in China, I kept putting like this energy in the air that I was going to get an email. So I land, no email, but I had a text from Guam. And she's like, are you free this week? But the text was like 3 hours later. Like, so I responded 3 hours later and I'm like, I'm free. But I know how these things work. Like the industry works fast. So I was like, damn, whatever that was, I missed that opportunity. Not knowing that the reason why she didn't get back to me was because she was in an audition at the time. So I got home. Luam calls me as I'm stepping out of my Uber. And she's like, hey, so here's the deal. This is going to be a really quick turnover. I have this show that I'm doing with Kelly in Australia, and I want you to come in as assistant choreographer.
Casual. Just with Kelly. Casual.
I was like, yeah, I can do it. Thank you so much. She's like, great. I'm going to send you a text message, and we'll figure it out. Cool. I called my mother. I was outside bawling. I'm like, Mommy, it's happening. It's happening. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's happening. It was Kelly. So we started rehearsals like the next day. I don't know if Kessie's still in here, but Kessie was actually a stand-in for Kelly Rowland for those rehearsals.
Oh my God, so cool.
So we're in rehearsal in New York. I knew the show was in Australia. I assumed that I probably wasn't going to go, but just to know that my choreography was going to be on that stage was enough for me at that moment. So we're going over the show, we're going over everything, and Luam's calling Kelly, like trying to confirm the set list and everything like that. And Luam is like talking to me because I'm writing everything down. I'm writing these things down. So Kelly goes, who are you talking to? And she goes, oh, I'm talking to my assistant, Keenan. And she goes, oh my God, I love Keenan. And I was like,
I would have passed out. I would have just dropped dead.
What in the world is going on? Like, it was crazy. So we finished rehearsal. It was coming down to like the last day of rehearsal. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this was amazing. Like, I hope that we get to do more shows. Luam goes, okay, so Keenan, we gotta like figure out like these flight things because I gotta get you to Australia. And I was like, what? So, I mean, 2 days later, we were off to Australia. Like, I flew to LA for a few days to get my hair cut, and because the flight goes from New York, New York, Cali to Sydney. Mm-hmm. So, boom, we get to LA. We get to Sydney. It was Luam's first time in Australia, my first time in Australia. And just a side note, Australia was on my list that year to travel to because I had never been. So that was 2 in 1.
So if there's anyone out there who's doubting whether we should be setting goals and writing them down and manifesting them, especially in January, that's when it's trendy. You could do it anytime, though.
Do it.
Keenan is the master, so we need to follow his example.
that is real. So we get to Australia, we start rehearsing, everything's cool. Like, originally, it was 2 guys that she had. And then Luam pulls me to the side, and she's like, oh, Kelly wants you to dance, too. And I'm like,
she's like,
what?
Kelly's like, basically your best friend, is what you're telling me.
Because the plot thickens. This is going to be the longest story I tell. So,
I'm here for it.
So I'm dancing. So we're creating. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. I'm creating. I'm talking. Doing all this stuff. So like we created this intro, and Kelly was like, you know what? I want 3 more guys, and then it literally became the show that I always wanted to choreograph. It was 6 guys. We were able to do all these cool things. Like, it was amazing, and that was enough for me. I was good with that. I was like, this is great. One day, the first morning, I woke up, I had breakfast. Obviously, I was jet lagged because I was on New York time. And I'm eating, like, I'm so hungry. I'm eating because I was up for such a long time, and breakfast didn't start till 7. I'm eating. Somebody goes, Keenan? I look up with this crab omelet in my mouth, and it's Kelly.
And that's the first time you see her in person?
Right, and she's like, do you want to come sit with us? I was like,
it's like the popular girl at school coming to say, like, you can sit with us.
Yep. So for 3 days straight, every morning I would wake up, go down there early on purpose because I knew she was having breakfast, and we would have breakfast together, me, her, Luam, her manager at the time, and it was just dope. So that was my favorite, like, choreography experience, and I always thank Luam so much for allowing me to assist her on that and get in, like, literally letting one of my biggest dreams come true. So
that is amazing. And, like, to think that, like, you've accomplished that as, like, one of your biggest dreams, and, like, you are still so early in your career. So I'm just so excited to see, like, all the stuff that you're gonna do. Like, oh, it's just, I don't know, it's just so exciting. Well, how's your little painting? I mean, not your little, it's I'm sure it's very good. I'm sure it's.
Wait, hold on. Let me just add these because I'm about to be done. I'm gonna just
okay.
My last little 2 polka dots, and I'm gonna be done.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, that is that story. Yeah, so that was crazy. Even just telling it, because I haven't told it in a long time. That is insane.
So good. And while you're getting that ready, it's time for our first game. So everyone in the comments, get ready because you can participate in this game. We're playing. We're playing. Let me get my graphic ready. It's time for Would You Rather. And don't worry, it's not like so scandalous. It's a pre-made card game, so nothing is too crazy. There are some weird ones in here though, but I think I'm gonna have to get people to submit some Would You Rathers because I've used up most of these and I'm getting bored with them, and so people are probably bored with them, so I'm gonna randomly pick some, and if you're in the comments, let me know which you would rather. So, would you rather cry 126 tears each time you saw a car, or have parrot feet for ears? And I just realized we played this game when I saw you and we story time for myself. The first time that like restaurants opened up for like pick up food during this pandemic, we like socially distanced with Kessie and like went to get Harlem We went to Harlem and got food, and I brought this with me, and I just remembered that. So hopefully we don't get one that you already answered, but that was literally the best day of my 2020. So
You said cry 126 tears every time you see a car or have parrot feet for ears?
yes, exactly.
I'd rather have parrot feet for ears.
Really?
Yeah, I could wear a hoodie. Like
You could make it cute. You could make it cute.
Yeah, I could do a bandana over my ears, but like literally, I see cars I would be crying all the time.
I already cry all the time, so I think I'd pick the crying because it wouldn't be any different than my real life. Okay, next one. Okay, let's see. These are so weird. Okay. Would you... This one's funny. Would you rather bump your head every morning as you woke up or fart flames every time you kiss someone?
Bump your head every morning you wake up. Oh, because you only wake up once a day. But like farting flames is absolutely ridiculous.
You would go through so many pants. And you have so many cute pants, so you can't ruin them.
Wait, Hailee, really quick, I just want to explain this to everybody before I ask. I've been drinking a gallon of water every day for the past 5 days. I have to pee so bad, so I'm going to run so quick, and I'm going to come right back.
Intermission.
Go.
If I had a sponsor for this show, I would talk about that now. Actually, I can say, if anyone out there is watching and you would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see all the other episodes of dancers doing stuff and also some fun DIY videos, I would very much appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before, well, I was trying to do that before 2021. So now I'm going to say before 2022, hopefully I can get 1,000 subscribers. So subscribe if you would like, and if you like this type of content. Perfect, the commercial break is over. You made it back. You're a very quick urinator. Special skill. Put that on your resume. Maybe not. Okay, last would you rather.
Okay.
Would you rather... I feel like you already do one of these things. Would you rather get stung by a jellyfish every time you take a shower?
Okay.
Or have to crawl everywhere like a lizard?
I guess get stung every time you take a shower because I could take baths.
True, that is a way to work around it. But what if then you're taking a bath with the jellyfish in the bath?
I think still that.
Yeah. I feel like you'd be really good at crawling like a lizard, though, because you have so many funny, weird, comical ways of moving.
But everywhere?
Yeah, true. Imagine, like, you met Kelly, but you were crawling like a lizard.
Like this,
No, yeah, that's not good. Okay, and some of our guests, I mean, not our guest, you're the guest. Some of our friends in the audience have said what they would pick. We have someone who said parrot feed his ears because plastic surgery exists.
Period. Yes, Tony.
A lot of comments about how quick you are at urinating, so definitely consider adding that to your resume. And that's all I can see right now because the comments are flying, so that's awesome. Thanks for being here, people. So now this part of the show, I love to talk to everyone who's a guest about some of their passions outside of dance, whether it's silly or serious or whatever, because a big part of why I started this show is because I think that it's really important to have a full life outside of dance. And, you know, I think you're a really great person who's an example of that, especially like, you know, when you had your birthday, when we were allowed to have birthdays, and you celebrated the whole month and like did stuff, and like I feel like you have such a great balance of having an actual life and still being successful at dance, and dance doesn't have to consume you in order to call yourself a dancer. So take it away. Tell us some of your passions outside of dance.
Yeah, first, I just want to go off of what you said. I think it is really important to have something else. I always say this to people: have something else that you love, have something else that brings you joy, because this is not always going to be that. This industry it's not about how good you are, you know? So there are so many other things that come into play. So it's really important to have other things that you love. It's really important to live a full life. It's really important to create memories. And I feel like I waited a little bit too long to do that. My mother's in here, she can attest. I missed so many things as a teenager and as like maybe like in my young adult years because I was dancing. I mean, of course, everybody understands that and it supports that, but like to me, my family is so important to me now. That's why I don't miss holidays. That's why I'm at every event, because we get so caught up in this industry and sometimes it's not even what we expect it to be. So I appreciate this segment. When it comes to what I love outside of here, I love food. I am a foodie. During quarantine, I wanted to learn how to cook better. I wanted to learn how to cook better things. I wanted to learn different recipes and stuff. So I became like a HelloFresh enthusiast. And that was my way of learning new recipes and learning like different ways to cook. And it seems super intimidating, but the more that you try and the more that you cook, the easier it becomes. So that is definitely something that I love to do. I love to cook. I love to try new things. I obviously love to go out to different restaurants to figure out different foods and things that I like. Another thing that I love is fashion. I love clothes. I love sneakers. I love all of that. I love putting outfits together and things like that. I'm always like kind of doing photo shoots and styling friends, and when I do my own videos I do the styling because it's just something that's so interesting to me and something that I just love and to use my creativity in a different way. Hold on, Monopoly Peter. I am Monopoly King.
That's one of
But
your passions outside of dance is cheating at
oh,
Monopoly.
Monopoly. I beat everybody in Monopoly. I don't care. I don't love in Monopoly. It's going down. But fashion and food. Fun fact: I don't ever want to say I'm going to be done dancing, but when I am like at that place where I'm like, okay, I can do other things. I actually want to go to culinary arts school and do that whole thing.
Cool.
Yeah, I really think that that would be something cool. And when it comes to the fashion, I'm actually working on something this year with fashion. So I'm
Are you
super
starting a clothing line? Is this a hot little tidbit of information? You heard it here
could be,
first.
could be. But
Oh
yeah,
my
so
god, I got an exclusive. Wow.
like you said, it's important to have a life, but I think it's important to also set up a life outside of dance because one, we know that this doesn't last forever, and two, I just think it's smart to have different streams of income, different things that you love, and I want to be making money when I'm awake. I want to be making money in my sleep. I want to be making money when I'm doing one thing. So yeah, I now want to start to utilize those passions that aren't just dancing, you know.
Yeah, and I was actually going to bring that up too because I remember in the summer or whenever it was when James had his show on Instagram, which I hope comes back. I know you were a guest and you talked a lot about like finances like and dancers, and I think that that's something that, you know, I was lucky to learn some of the stuff that you talked about through the Rock You program that Luam did, but I feel like you have such a great grasp on that too, and you're really smart with your money, and that's stuff that I feel like the world needs to be taught more, and especially dancers, especially freelancers and stuff. So I don't know if you have any like hot tips for that, or I mean, obviously you're not a financial advisor, so no one, you know, come for us and sue us, but I think that you probably have a few tips that you could probably offer.
I think the simplest tip, and this is how I started to save money, is when you start to get a little bit more of it, or even when you're getting a check. I used to split my money in three ways. You know, maybe I couldn't split it evenly because I wasn't making all the money that time, but I always split my money in three ways, and I still do this now. Checking account, rent, savings account. I always did that. And I am a person that's like, I don't touch the other two accounts. So if there's no money in my checking account, your boy is broke, you know? And that's how you start to save money, and that's how you start to like double your money and things like that. And of course, we want to treat ourselves. If I was to turn this camera around and you see all the sneakers in my house, you would see that I treat myself. But I think it's important to save, especially as dancers. I know, like, after class, we want to go to BBQs and get drinks, and we want to be around the choreographers and be in all these places. But you have to make sure you're good, because at the end of the day, look at where we're in now. We're in a pandemic where maybe 10% of the dance community is working, and the rest of us, I ain't gonna say us because I'm working too, but the rest of the community is not able to work or work as often, because I in terms of like industry work, I'm not working as often as I would normally work too. So you have to be set, like you have to be okay, and you have to still have different streams of income and have money saved for moments like this. And I think that because this pandemic happened, I think it's starting to open people's eyes with saving money and having, like my mother said, multiple streams of income and just being smarter with your money.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, well, that brings us to our last game. It's less of a game, but dun, 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 dun. Questions. I'm no James with the soundboard. I hope to one day have some good soundboards. So I have these cards that I mostly took from a website that said questions to ask your dad. So they're fun. But
Okay.
I've added a few in here. They're loosely color coordinated. So I'm just going to pick one randomly from each color. And if anything is too personal, you can always pass. None of them are really that crazy. But of course, we want you to feel comfortable here on Dancers Doing Stuff.
Gotcha.
All right, let's see what you get. All right, pick a color.
Orange, because I have orange on.
Okay. Oh, no, this is a would you rather again. How did that get in there? Are your feet the same size?
Okay, so clinically, I've never been diagnosed with one foot bigger than the other, but my left foot is always hurting a little bit more than my right. So if you like see me sitting down somewhere, most of the time my left shoe is off, because I think my left foot is bigger than my right.
I think my left foot is bigger than my right. Just a tiny bit. Like just enough to bother me.
It's really small, but I think so.
Interesting. Wow, we got some good info. Okay, pick another color.
Blue.
Who is your partner in crime? You have a lot of partners in crime, I feel like.
It depends on what I'm doing. Like, if I'm going to talk trash, my partner in crime is my sister. Like, my little sister, Khalees. She's not in here because she's in work right now. But that's my homie. Like, we talk trash. Like, my partner in crime to, like, do some, like, real ratchet stuff is, like, my best friend, Drake. And my partner in crime to be crazy is Darren and Dan. Like,
Yeah.
Those are my partners in crime for that. So I have like 3 sets of partners in crime depending on what it is.
Yeah. You've got a whole, like, crime syndicate of
Right.
fun. No illegal activity. Just wildness. I mean,
Right.
we can't end this without even bringing up your amazing rapping skills. So that is, you're a rap star.
The people are gonna get that this year too, so don't even worry about it.
I'm not ready for 2021. Okay, next color.
Pink.
They're technically different colors on the other side, so sometimes it's a little hard for me. Okay, what food do you crave more than any other? That's hard.
Okay, so in life it would be like chicken, but I went vegetarian in November and I realized that I didn't need chicken as much as I thought. So cauliflower is my new need.
Like just plain cauliflower, or do you have like buffalo cauliflower?
Buffalo cauliflower is my favorite, but like during the time of me going, Armando's in here. He's my friend from Canada. He also went vegetarian with me in November.
Wow.
So I would say buffalo cauliflower. I have to have it at least once a week.
Do you make it like yourself? Like you have a recipe that you love?
During quarantine, I was about to say during COVID. During quarantine, I learned how to make buffalo cauliflower. So I either make it or I get it somewhere. When I was home for Christmas, I made it too for my family.
Ooh, that sounds so good. Okay, last question of these. When you were
Mhm.
little, what did you want to be? That might be an easy question.
Oh my! When I was little, I wanted to be a dancer. Yeah,
Perfect.
like I
Period.
used to. Yeah, I used to say dancer and a choreographer. Choreographer. I used to say choreographer wrong, but like I knew what it was. So that's what I wanted to be, and I always used to say I wanted to live in New York before I even knew what New York was. I used to say it, and it's always freaking crazy to realize like those things they're real. They're
Yeah.
real and happening. So it's
You
cool.
really started manifesting as a baby,
As a
basically.
baby. As a baby.
Oh my gosh, amazing. And so, the last official question before we. Actually, no, I lied. I lied to you. I wanted to see, because I started asking this with Neil. So I have
Hmm.
two questions that I ask everyone, I guess, now. Do
Okay.
you, what is one piece of advice that you would want to give to a dancer? And I know
Um,
that's like a really hard,
yeah.
big question. And you've
Um,
given so much advice already, but
yeah, I think the answer just gave me chills in my body because I feel like everybody loses this at some point in their life. I think you have to remember why you started dancing. Because as much as I love this industry, it's not great. You get caught up in so many things. You start to lose yourself because you're trying to get these jobs and get this attention. So I think it's really important to remember why you started dancing. And for me, I was watching my mom in a basement practice with her group, and I wanted to do that. So the times where it's hard, the times where things aren't happening the way I want them to, the times when things do happen the way I want them to, I think about 4 or 5 year old me watching my mother dance in a basement and being inspired by that and being at shows. Like I was at all her shows and hair shows and everything. Like I always bring myself back to that when I'm in those moments where I'm like, this fucking sucks. I hate this. Da, da, da. And I think we have to remember that, and that's always gonna bring you back to a positive and a good place. And it's gonna always ignite that fire in you because there's always something that's knocking you down and making you not want to do it. There's always something that is going to deter you from it. There's always something that's purposely trying to stop you from dancing. And it's when you're at that moment where you feel like you want to give up, that's when you break through and like your wildest dreams come true. So yes, remember why you started. And if you can't remember, then you shouldn't be doing it. But if you can remember that, you'll always, 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 always like get back to that place where you started.
I love that so much. Okay, the last official question is, what brings out your most creative self?
Um, what brings out my most creative self? Music.
Mm.
Music. And it's not even just dance. Like when I'm looking for an outfit for the day, I play music. When I'm feeling sad, I play music. When I'm just on the train, I play music. Obviously, when I'm choreographing, I play music. It makes me creative. When I'm cooking, I play music. Like if I'm writing a text message that I'm passionate about or an email that I'm passionate about, I play music. It it's like there's a song for every mood. There's a beat. There's a vibe. There are lyrics that you can relate to. Music is that for me. It's what makes me the most creative. It's what makes me the most happy. Sometimes shit. It's the thing that makes me sad. When I'm in a bad mood, I have songs that I play to make me feel good. When I'm sad and I want to stay into my sadness, I have songs that I listen to stay in the sadness. So music is definitely what like makes me and brings that creativity out of me.
Amazing. Okay, now if you have anything to plug, I know we have your Instagram for the video live viewers, but for the audio viewers or audio listeners, what's the right thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell us where people can find you.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Ayo Keenan. Both are Ayo Keenan, and on Facebook, it is Keenan Cooks Dance. And then YouTube because we're on YouTube right now. YouTube is Call Me K Cooks, or you can just type in Keenan Cooks. Most of the time, you type in Keenan Cooks,
Because
I'll
you
pop
got
out.
it like that.
And I want to show my painting.
I love it. Mine is actually not done because I was so like amazed. I was just painting mine a white base, and I think I'm going to do some decorations over it, but I didn't finish it. So we'll have to come back to this one day. And if you... Awkward. It's broken now. No. Yeah, so if I'll definitely post a picture of this. I have the Dancers Doing Stuff Instagram. I only started it like 2/3 of the way through the last season, so I haven't really gotten Darren.
Darren, get out of here.
Darren is the funniest person maybe in this chat. Do you have an OnlyFans?
No.
And I don't either. Yeah, so you can find all of the stuff here on Essentially Hailee, the YouTube videos. I have them. Usually every Wednesday we'll have a live guest, and then the Dancers Doing Stuff podcast audio version of the show goes live every Friday with mini episodes on Sunday that have a creative challenge for the week. If you want to just listen on Sundays and, you know, get a little burst of creativity, that's something you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere that has podcasts. Apparently there are other places. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I think I'm at 204, so you know, I have a ways to go, but it's okay. And what else? You can find my personal information at Hailee Grove on Instagram. And I think that is it. Thank you so much for being the first guest of season 2. This has been so fun, even though it was a journey to get here, but we did it. And this has been one of the best episodes yet. So
yeah. I'm proud of you, Hailee, for doing this. I'm proud of you for sticking to it. This is amazing, and I think like it's a dope avenue for you. So keep it up. Keep doing it. Thank you for having me. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so I appreciate it. Thank you to my family that was
yes.
Thank
you.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Amazing. All right. Well, have a great night, everyone.